According to rumors, the maternity wing at Grace Hospital in Calgary is reportedly haunted by the soul of Maudine Riley, also known as Maud Keene Riley for short. According to the legend, Maudine's family was the owner of the property on which the proposed hospital was subsequently constructed. Unfortunately, Maudine passed away while she was giving birth. Even her kid did not make it through the birthing process. It is stated that the wretched form of her soul takes up residence in the maternity unit, and when she is seen there, she is supposed to be cradling her child. There is a vast range of human emotions that may be experienced at hospitals, ranging from extreme happiness to extreme misery. As a result, many people think that hospitals are often claimed to be haunted. The question remains, however, whether Maudine or Maud Keene Riley is the one who haunts. Having spent her childhood in Perth County, Ontario, Maud Keene Riley went on to get her teaching certification from the Ontario Normal School. She obtained a teaching post at Nose Creek School in Calgary in 1903 when she had completed her education and received her certification. She wed Harold Riley in 1907, and the couple went on to have 3 children together. During one of the deliveries, both the mother and the infant were so near to passing away that it is reported that Maud made a pledge to herself that she would always look out for the well-being of children and the families on whom they were raised. Could this be the fact that the myth exists? Maud's initial participation in the community was with the local Council of Women, which was comprised of human rights advocates such as Emily Murphy and Henrietta Muir Edwards. This organization was successful in lobbying for a number of significant improvements, including the ability to vote for women in 1916 and the right to dower rights for women. Following her involvement with this organization, Maud went on to become involved with over 30 organizations in the province of Alberta, such as the Alberta Federation of Women, the Calgary Playground Association, the Canadian Council on Child Welfare, and the Foothills Provincial General Hospital Board. She gained valuable experience on the subject of activism through her involvement with this group. The work that she did in the area of women's rights, and in particular children's rights, was steadfast and comprehensive. She investigated everything from the need of appropriate nutrition to the importance of moral decency. The phrase, "Children should be well born, well treated, well housed, well fed, and well taught," was one of Maud's favorite sayings throughout her lifetime. She shone a great deal of resolve as she persistently pushed legislators until they made concessions for her causes. These concessions included the pasteurization of milk, free hospitalization for maternity, family courts, and family allowances, all of which were designed to ensure that children received adequate care. Maud was a contributor to the establishment of the Calgary Child Welfare Society in 1918. In 1923, the organization evolved into the Alberta Council on Child and Family Welfare. This would be her finest accomplishment, which would result in enormous changes to the quality of care that is accessible to families and children in Alberta. Unopposed, she served as the organization's president from 1923 to 1962. One of her latter accomplishments was pushing for the establishment of family courts, which would allow juveniles to be tried independently from adults. It was Maud Riley's dogged determination that led to the establishment of a significant number of the social services that are now considered to be standard in Alberta. Maud Riley died unexpectedly in 1962, only a few months before she was scheduled to be awarded an honorary doctorate degree in law from the University of Alberta Institution of Research. It is widely acknowledged that she was a pioneer in the field of social work in Alberta. This famous healthcare facility has been in operation since 1894, and during that time it has gained not just a reputation for its cutting-edge amenities, but also for the ghostly inhabitants that it houses. It is thought that the hallways and wards of the hospital, which are steeped with history dating back more than a century, are home to more than just the sick and the living. The stories that have been told about St. Paul's Hospital are unsettling and diverse in nature. Unidentified footsteps that reverberate down empty hallways, voices that are disembodied and send chills down the spine, and shadowy shapes that flicker in the peripheral are some of the things that healthcare professionals and security guards are whispering about. The late-night staff often recounts experiences with the spirits of prior patients, nurses, and physicians, which serves as a reminder of the many souls that have passed through the doors of the facility. The history of St. Paul may be traced back to the time of the Gold Rush, which was a time when the population of Vancouver saw a significant increase. Two sisters of the Sisters of Providence, who are located in Montreal, saw the critical need for medical treatment and founded the hospital on land that they had acquired for $9,000. It was initially a tiny hospital with 25 beds when it opened in 1894, but it quickly grew to accommodate the ever-increasing needs of the city. St. Paul's Hospital had become a critical care center by the year 1907, when it opened a nurses' school and underwent successive expansions. This transformation occurred particularly during the World Wars. Here is a strong connection between St. Paul's Hospital and St. Mary's Hospital in New Westminster, both of which are based on the principles of Catholicism and compassionate care. It was the first hospital in British Columbia to use contemporary X-ray procedures and a standardized patient care record system, both of which are examples of its pioneering work in a variety of medical sectors. Even up until a few years ago, the hospital continued to uphold its tradition by reading prayers twice a day over the overhead speakers. When it comes to diagnostic research and treatment, St. Paul's Hospital continues to be an essential component of the community even in the present day. In spite of this, the ancient walls of the institution contain more than simply medical accomplishments. They reverberate with the echoes of the past. There are stories of the supernatural that are intertwined with the hospital's tradition of medical discovery, which makes the institution a hub of paranormal activity. This activity ranges from misty beings to full-body apparitions. 650-acre property with unoccupied, interconnected Queenston limestone Art Deco structures in a pavilion plan design is on Elgin County Road 4, south of St. Thomas, Ontario. Former St. Thomas Psychiatric Hospital. Opened in April 1939 as the Ontario Hospital. St. Thomas, the facility had around 1,100 patients by September 1939, when the Department of National Defence took over the hospital grounds for the Royal Canadian Air Force's Technical Training School, a merger of two existing schools at Camp Borden and Trenton. The patients were moved to other facilities across the province, and the RCAF school trained airframe and aero engine mechanics, instrument makers, fabric workers, electricians, sheet metal workers, carpenters, propeller specialists, safety equipment workers, parachute riggers, and freight engineers during World War II. St. Thomas has a detention barracks and second school. In February 1940, the Equipment and Accounting Training School opened. For RCAF trainees, many temporary facilities were built on hospital grounds. Some courses were moved to adjacent RCAF Station Aylmer in early 1945, after the war ended. Nearly 50,000 troops have trained at the Technical Training School by 30 April 1945. After the Canadian Army temporarily occupied certain maintenance hangars, the site was transferred to the Ontario government and became a mental institution in November 1945. All temporary wartime structures were dismantled. The hospital, once called the most advanced in the Dominion by Superintendent Dr. Lynch, pioneered many innovative approaches to patient health and well-being, including a 463-acre farm that allowed staff and patients to produce food for the hospital. Hospital admissions peaked at 2,300 in April 1958. In 1976, the hospital introduced a forensic mental health program, and changed mental health treatment from an institutionalized model that kept some patients for years to a deinstitutionalized, community-based support model for those who were suitable. This new form of deinstitutionalized patient treatment with suitable community placements continues today thanks to late 1950s psychotropic medicines. As part of the 1997 Healthcare Restructuring Commission, HSRC, mental health care reform, St. Joseph's Healthcare in London, Ontario, took over management of St.Thomas Psychiatric Hospital in January 2001. In 2013, a new hospital was built on the north end of the St. Thomas property, closing the old hospital and bringing another link to Ontario's unfortunate history of psychiatric care, which included physical and sexual abuse of imbeciles, lunatics, and idiots. While some think the buildings are haunted, they carry the sad memories of past tenants, some of whom were abandoned by their family and died in the structures. The municipality of Central Elgin's administrative offices are in the old nurse's house on County Road 4, across from the hospital. Since 1985, it was Elgin County's administrative offices. A pedestrian tunnel links the building to the hospital. The facilities, some of which were utilized by other Ontario government departments, have remained unoccupied and decaying for years as the government searches for a buyer. Urban explorers like the buildings, despite their security, and the Elgin County detachment of the Ontario Provincial Police on the southern side. A narrative that is cloaked in both groundbreaking medical history and terrifying legends can be found located in the tranquil expanse of Weyburn, Saskatchewan, which is located at the point where the plains meet the sky. Over the course of its history, the Souris Valley Mental Health Hospital, a massive complex that was constructed in 1920 and opened its doors in 1921, was once the biggest building in the British Commonwealth. Not only is it known today for the crucial role it played in the treatment of mental illness, but it is also renowned for the eerie whispers that continued to linger in its halls long after it was eventually demolished. A mission to transform psychiatric treatment was the impetus behind the establishment of Souris Valley Mental Health Hospital. The treatment initially centered on a method known as work and water therapy, in which patients were given jobs or hydrotherapy to complete. The hospital, on the other hand, became a location for increasingly extreme therapies such as insulin therapy, lobotomy, electroshock, and even LSD experimentation as the knowledge and techniques of treatment progressed. The facility was initially designed to accommodate 900 patients. Nevertheless, it eventually expanded to about 2,500 people at its height, representing a microcosm of the shifting trends in mental health treatment. The history of the hospital is filled with tales that go beyond the sphere of that which is now alive. Shuffling feet were heard, dark figures were seen traversing the vacant halls, and the creepy presence of a lady was seen at windows in restricted areas, according to employees, tourists, and residents who testified about their experiences. These ghost occurrences, together with the intense sensations of melancholy, anxiety, and terror that are associated with the structure, have resulted in Souris Valley being continually included on lists of the top 10 most haunted, even after the building was demolished. It was in 1971 that the hospital ceased operations as a mental health facility, and it was not until 2005 that it finally shuttered its doors for good. The following destruction that took place in 2008-2009 did not successfully put an end to the rumors of hauntings. Despite the fact that it is now a residential development known as Riverwood, the region nevertheless reverberates with the haunting history of the hospital. There are a number of unsettling reports that are related with the old hospital, some of which include the manifestation of a lady walking around the 4th floor, noises that cannot be explained, and unexpected and violent movements of doors.